Hey kids, we are ready for Cursive Lesson 23. This is capital T and capital F. Grab this handout, grab a pencil, and we're going to get going right now. Okay, here's capital printed T that we're all used to writing, just two straight lines. And here's capital cursive T. So it definitely looks different, but we can still see that it has a straight line here. This is kind of supposed to be the little top that's on it, but it wouldn't really look like much if we just stopped right here. So we actually curve out and then do this little check stroke, the same that you do at the bottom of a capital I. Of course, it's going to tilt slightly to the right. And so that's capital cursive T. It's kind of fun to make. You just have to get the hang of making this little check stroke at the beginning and then curving out and making this at the end. So let's go ahead and try some of these. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the marks on the capital T here so that we can see what these strokes are. Here we have a little undercurve up at the top, so that's just like the beginning of. Then we're going to pull a slant line down. At the baseline, we're going to curve in and up, and then we're going to release with this little stroke right here. Technically, we could say that's an undercurve. I've been calling it like a little check stroke, but it's just the same way that capital I releases. So we're going to go ahead and try some of these right now. Okay, so we're doing our little undercurve up to the top line, slant line down, come up, and then release. All right, up, slant down, come up, and release. Okay, you're probably feeling comfortable with this already. This is not as complicated as some of them. Okay, now we're going to trace another one here, up and release. And then we're going to do one more on our own, up and release. And now we're going to do capital T next to lowercase t. So here we go. Up, slant down, come up, release. And then starting at the baseline, go up, trace down, release, and then cross your T. Okay, on our own, up, trace down, and then cross. Okay, and one more time with capital and lowercase t together here, and that, and release. Okay, now we're going to write Thursday. Thursday is a pretty good day of the week because it is the day before Friday, and Friday is our last day of school before the weekend. Okay, U right here, and then we're going into the R. S, D, up, trace back down, A, and then up and over for the Y down below the line, and loop. And I didn't think we could fit it over here, so we're going to write it down below. There's our capital T, loop, trace back up and over for the H, U, R, S, D, A, up and over for the Y, and release. Okay, now we're actually going to write the abbreviation for Thursday, which is THURS period. So it's everything but day, since all the weekdays end with day. Okay, H, U, R, S, release, and then put your period. H, U, R, S, release, and then your period. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now there's another day of the week that starts with a T, so we're going to write Tuesday. Tuesday is better than Monday. Mondays are always tough because it's the first day we have to get up early and go back to school or work. D, A, Y, and release. And then we're going to write it here. D, A, Y. I think we can maybe fit it on there again. I just might have to write kind of small, smaller than I did on that other one. S, D, A, Y. And we got it.
Okay, so I know that something that I always do when I make tees is I tend to struggle to make this the same size each time. So just keep working at it. Some of mine, you can tell, definitely look different than the others, and I'm not doing as much of an undercurve when I'm not tracing it. So just keep practicing, just keep working at it. You're going to get better and better. I think this one looks pretty good, so why don't you find your best one, and we're going to move on to letter F now.
All right, here's capital printed F, just 3 straight lines that we're used to making. And here's capital cursive F. And you're probably thinking, ooh, that looks a little different. Well, if you think about it, it's really just the same as capital cursive T. Here's the check stroke. It goes down into a straight line and then it curves out and does this little check stroke. And then all we do is we just cross it in the middle so that we can tell it's an F and not a T. So if you can make a cursive T capital, then you can definitely make a cursive F in capital because we're just crossing it in the middle. It is going to tilt slightly to the right. All right, so let's go ahead and try some of these. I think you're going to be able to do great on this.
Okay, capital cursive F is the same as T. We're just doing our undercurve there. We're doing a slant line down, then we're curving up. And then this is an undercurve here. And then we're just crossing in the middle right there to show that it's an F and not a T. So that's really the only difference. So we're making the same basic letter. We're just putting a line across the middle. So let's get started practicing some of these. Okay, so same basic movement. Up, release, and then cross. Undercurve, down, up, release, cross. Now it's feeling better because you're like, oh yeah, practicing that T first helped, huh? Okay, I think I can get another one in there. Up, release, cross. Now we're gonna write capital F and lowercase f. And they don't connect. Loop, go down below the line, loop, release. And then we're going to write it on our own. Big loop, little loop, release. And trace it one more time. Loop, loop. And on our own one more time. Cross and there. You can definitely see what I was saying about the T is that sometimes I make this bigger, sometimes I make this bigger, but it's okay. I mean, it's definitely identifiable as the letter. So just keep doing the best you can. I mean, I've been writing in cursive for a long time and I still kind of don't make mine as consistent on this letter, but that's all right. Now we're going to write Friday. Friday is the best day of the school week anyway, because it's the day before we get off for our weekend. D, A, and then up and over and down for the Y, and then dot your I, and we're going to write Friday down here. Okay, capital F, R, I, D, A, Y. Okay, now we're going to write February. February is the second month of the year, not the school year, but the calendar year. So after January, when we come back, it's a new year. And February is the next month. It's also the month of Valentine's Day. Okay, loop up for that B, keep it at the top to connect to that R. U, A, another R, Y. And it looks like February, but we don't really pronounce the R. Okay, now we're gonna do it on our own. E, B, keep it at the top to connect to that R, U, A, second R, and Y. All right, now we're gonna write Frosty, like Frosty the Snowman. There's our F, R, O, S, and come up and connect, go into the T. It's like all these words have Y in them. Oh, I got a little long on the crossing that T. Okay, F, R, O. Come up to the top of that check stroke, come down, come up and connect for that S. I think it's always funny connecting an S to a letter that ends at the top. It kind of distorts it a little bit, but you can still tell what it is as long as you keep that point up there. Now we're going to write Fred. I had a student named Fred. He was really funny. E, D. Okay, and now capital R, E, D. Okay, now I'm going to find my best F. I think it might be this one. I've got some other good ones, but that one looks pretty good. Then you can grab yourself a highlighter or some colored pencils, and I like to use just the tip rather than the flat side if I do it like that, and loosely just trace over these to get your hand used to making that movement. And you don't have to do this perfectly, especially if you use a yellow or something, because you won't really see if you get off the lines. But just keep practicing, keep working at it, and I will see you next time in lesson 24.